Hello, and welcome to Nyotron, the only company that delivers threat-agnostic defense to protect your data from attacks. Let me introduce myself. My name's Taggart. James Taggart. I'd also like to recognize my technical engineer, my partner in crime to my right, Nir Shafir. Nir will be operating from the podium today. We're going to spend about 15 minutes together talking about the Nyotron approach to data security, threat-agnostic defense. And then we will demonstrate two live hacks, one using ransomware, and the second, a very insidious threat using a rubber ducky to demonstrate that threat-agnostic defense can stop any kind of threat from any attack vector. Nyotron, just like me, has a mission to secure the world. That's why they brought me here, right? And we are starting with the biggest challenge in security today, how to address both current and future threats without knowing anything about them. Threat-agnostic defense means that we have the capability to detect and prevent attacks and stop everything. Let's begin, shall we? Traditional endpoint security vendors are signature-based. They are efficient against threats they have signatures for. You can name all the vendors. They're the ones with the biggest booths over in the other hall. Every one of you here today has one of their products installed on your endpoints. But you all know they don't work against unknown threats, APTs, or zero-day attacks. So as with new threats, new technologies begin to emerge. And many great companies have been launched to detect those specific new types of threats and attack vectors, like exploits, malware, ransomware, email security, or web security. Even at their best, the next generation technology is only efficient against those specific types of problems. As a customer, you simply cannot afford to buy and manage an infinite number of security products. You need a new approach. Nyotron has that approach, a patented breakthrough technology that detects the unknown threats. Nyotron does not research threats or attack vectors, methods, or techniques. We simply don't need to know about the threats to stop them. Let me show you how we are different. Here is a typical attack workflow. First, the hacker chooses an attack vector to get in, and he drops his payload, which infects your machine, and then he damages your data in some way. Most technologies are focused on preventing the attacks from getting in, acting like gates. The problem with gates is that once you bypass them, the threats are in and can do whatever damage they want. Enterprises invest a lot of money on perimeter and endpoint security to prevent threats from coming in. Once the threats bypass those technologies, you've lost. The good news is that while the ways to get in are infinite, the ways to cause damage are finite. So Nyotron developed a system that has nothing to do with the ways to get in or the threats themselves. We simply do not research threats, techniques, or attack vectors. We do not contain threats, scan files, apply math, behavioral learning, or artificial intelligence to try to guess if something is malicious and to try to keep ahead of the attackers. We simply have mapped the right ways to do things on a computer, so when things are not done the right way, we recognize that and stop it. In essence, we're like the James Bond of cybersecurity. Let's see it live. We'll demonstrate two threats and two attack vectors. One, a ransomware called CryptoLocker, where the attack vector is a crafted email invitation linked to an infected fake LinkedIn website. It's designed to encrypt and exfiltrate files to the attacker's machine. The second is a rubber ducky, where the attack vector is a device that looks like a thumb drive, but actually is a keyboard, which connects to a command and control remote server that takes control over the victim's machine and commits malicious activities remotely. Let me set the stage. You can see two computers that are linked to the appropriate monitor. One is the victim, the other the attacker. Between these two computers are typical security technologies you all probably own: a next-gen firewall and antivirus software. First, the firewall. I won't reveal the name of the company because then I need to kill you. I'm totally kidding, just making sure I've got everyone's attention. All of you did well. but it is a leading firewall company that also has URL filtering, DPI modules, and other modules that are all turned on the most restrictive level. As you also know, a firewall should also block all inbound communication to the victim. Besides this firewall, we have a leading antivirus vendor's endpoint security suite installed on the victim's machine. So we have a firewall, an antivirus, and an IPS. We have no exceptions turned on. In addition to those security products, we have this humble hedgehog installed. This hedgehog is Nyotron's Paranoid. And just like James Bond, it is a fully preventive solution. For this demo, we'll be running in detection mode, so you can see the full effect of the attack. I'd like to talk some more about this management system. This is the Nyotron War Room. As a side note, I'm totally off script here, but is that a cool name or what? The Nyotron War Room. I love it. The War Room doesn't only have a beautiful UI, it's a very functional management and forensics console. At the heart of this console is a 3D sphere that supports multi-touch screens. The War Room was designed to allow first-class network visibility. It supports any size network. You're able to change the view to geolocations if you're a multinational corporation. The most important thing about the War Room is the level of detail it will give you during and after an attack. We will start our demo with the hottest threat in the industry today. And if anyone knows hot, it's me. That threat, ransomware. The attacker is going to send our victim a fake LinkedIn invitation. What you see here is an authentic looking invitation to Victor the victim, from Jimmy to Money, the CTO of Placebo Bank, from invitations@linkedin.com. No matter where Victor clicks, he's going to get infected with the ransomware. Let's send Victor this invitation. In parallel, let's look at this active folder, because the ransomware is going to steal data from the victim's computer, not just encrypt it. Let's look on Victor's computer. We can see that there's plenty of data that's currently completely fine. Let's open a few files to confirm. Now, let's open Victor's Outlook application. As you see, he sees the email, opens it, looks like a regular invitation. But when he clicks on View Profile, he will get infected with a real ransomware attack that gives him 72 hours to pay. As you can see, the data starts to flow. We now see Victor's data in the attacker's computer. This ransomware is lethal and was created to steal your data. You can see the data that was accessible a minute ago is accessible. Let's open the files again to see. This is a game over incident for any organization. There's absolutely nothing they can do. I'm not even sure James Bond can help at this point. If you didn't have prior protection that works, you're done. Your info has been stolen, and if you don't pay, the attacker can publish your data. How many of your security vendors tell you the best way to deal with ransomware is to make sure that you back up your data? That's because they know they can't protect against new ransomware attacks. As you can see, Paranoid has detected the attack. Of course, if we were running in prevention mode, the attack would have been stopped. But in detection mode, you can look at the War Room to tell you exactly what is happening. We'll see in a moment how precise the Nyotron War Room is. You can also see that neither the firewall nor the antivirus endpoint security suite did anything to notify, alert, detect, or protect Victor. They were completely blind to the attack. Let's look at the War Room. You see the victim endpoint has turned orange. It's orange because we are running in detection mode. If Paranoid was running in prevention mode, the endpoints would appear red. What is important is the details. We have a few ways to tackle this. We can see the infected endpoints and can see the affected processes. Since Paranoid isn't based on signatures, it is 100% based on our threat-agnostic defense approach. Instead of names of attacks, we can see categories of behaviors. And by clicking on these categories, you can see every file that got encrypted. Looking at the story, we can see exactly what happened in this attack. The story feature actually has a player. So you can see that Outlook started the browser that connected to this IP, which downloaded the ransomware that eventually encrypted and stole all the data and sent it back to the attacker. What is important to explain is how Paranoid detected this. We don't care about the browser exploitation or the fake LinkedIn website or the malicious email. We simply don't care about the type of threat or the attack vector because we are threat agnostic. Paranoid can really understand what good behavior is and what is not a legitimate process for the encryption of files. Paranoid doesn't care what type of threat is attacking you or where the attack comes from, even from a malicious flash drive or launched intentionally by an employee. Paranoid will protect you no matter what because it is threat agnostic defense. Let's try to infect the machine another way. This looks like an innocent USB flash drive, a thumb drive. It is not. It's actually a very dangerous attack method called rubber ducky. This rubber ducky is actually a keyboard. So no device control protection that you have will block a keyboard. We bought this from the internet for under 50 bucks. This keyboard has been programmed to allow our attacker to completely take over his victim's computer. You've all heard the story. If you leave flash drives around, someone will take one and plug it into his computer. I will bet there are a number of inexperienced marketing teams who will think it is a great idea to give out their company collateral on a flash drive right here on the RSA show floor. So, let's plug in this USB and see how automatically it takes control of the machine and begins typing. You have no way to block this attack. It acts just like a human. It already has complete control of the victim's machine. You see typing, and you see the attacker moving the command line away, so you won't see what he is doing. Now, the attacker can do what he wants. You can even take the rubber ducky out of the machine. You're already infected. The attacker still has control. Watch as he connects to the machine, creates a file on the desktop, and types hacked. He is completely inside the machine. No lesser system can block this attack. Now, he will delete the file. So, let's look at Paranoid. As you can see, Paranoid detected every step of the attack because we don't care about the type of attack or the attack vector. Nyotron's Paranoid with threat agnostic defense will stop everything. In summary, Paranoid does the complete opposite of all other systems, even the next generation technologies. We have nothing to do with threats, nothing to do with attack techniques or methods. We are not a gate. We will detect every step of the attack, even if it's already in. We simply have mapped all the right ways to do things, so therefore, we can identify when an action is not done the right way and stop it. That's how we are actually able to identify, detect, and prevent every type of threat, notably APTs, zero-day attacks, and all unknown threats, because we are completely agnostic to them. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure bringing Nyotron and threat agnostic defense to you. Before you go, I have one last point. If you're interested in hearing more about Nyotron, on-premise or Nyotron managed defense services, or if you want to set up a meeting or custom demo, please see one of our sales consultants here in the booth. Sales consultants, raise your hands. These are the gentlemen that you see. Also, we've got t-shirts over here. Thank you everyone for coming. Cheers.